Yuganta by Iravati Karve is an original analysis of some of Mahabharata's characters, seeing them all as human beings, none perfect, none wholly good or wholly evil, all caught up in the complexities of life, trying to figure out what their duty and the right course of action are. It sees life as it is, and hence we can identify at least with some of the aspects of its characters. Iravati Karve, 1905 to 1970, was an anthropologist and sociologist. She was born in Burma, now called Myanmar, but educated in India. She had a fairly turbulent personal life herself, and she was not very religious. She saw religious texts more in terms of their human content rather than as transactions between divine and semi-divine beings. Her work Yuganta won the Sahitya Academy Award, the highest Indian award for literature, in 1967. It was noted for its originality. She based it on what is known as the critical edition of the epic, the result of 4 decades of effort by a number of scholars, and was published in 1966. Yuganta was published in 1967 in Marathi language as a series of articles for a magazine, one character at a time. She takes a really hard look at the characters, praising them when due and sparing no criticism when called for. One can see a feminist interpretation of the events and characters, and certainly she was among the earliest to analyze the female characters who played a major role in the story. These articles, they were well received, and there was a demand for a translation into English, which Karve herself did in 1968. It is still a widely read and referenced book on the subject of Mahabharata and its interpretation. The basic story of Mahabharata is quickly told. It was originally quite a compact work of about 10,000 verses called slogas in Sanskrit, and this work was called Jaya, but over a period of time got inflated to more than 86,000 verses. It is much more than Iliad and Odyssey put together. It's a tale of rivalry between 2 sets of cousins named Pandavas, 5 in number, and Kauravas, 100 in number, for the throne of the then powerful and glorious kingdom of Hastinapura. The tale is of rivalries and unscrupulous efforts to eliminate Pandavas by the Kauravas even as children, a rigged gambling match in which Pandavas lose their kingdom, sent to exile for 12 years, followed by a life of living incognito for 1 year, refusal to honor the terms and return the kingdom after the expiry of the 13 years, and finally a huge battle involving almost every king of North India to finally settle the issue. The war resulted in destruction of almost everyone who participated in it, and that meant the entire galaxy of the kings in North India, and a somewhat hollow victory for Pandavas, who inherited a kingdom of widows and orphans. At one level, the story wonders about the futility of war and of life itself, but it also contains a strong message that despite the intractable problems life poses, one has to decide, move on, and face the consequences. Reflecting Jean-Paul Sartre's famous observation that man is condemned to be free. It contains numerous stories within stories that have become familiar to every child in India, and the famous Bhagavad Gita, a long discourse by Krishna to Arjuna about his duty and almost a distilled essence of the Indian philosophy. Yuganta deals with only some of the characters of Mahabharata. Interestingly, it does not deal with any of the Pandavas or Kauravas themselves. It does deal with the female characters of Kunti, Gandhari and Draupadi, not much discussed in traditional works on the epic. It is important to keep in mind that while in the other books that we have dealt with in the course, we have interpreted the original work, here we are dealing with a book that is already an interpretation. Hence, what we shall be doing is to comment on those interpretations and draw lessons.